Praise is due to Allah who has united the hearts of the believer in Islam and has made it an obligation to remain united and has made it forbidden to become separated in his clear book. I bear witness that there is nothing worthy of worship except Allah, who guides to the straight path whom he wills. And I bear witness that our leader Muhammad is his messenger and the best caller to the way that is straight. O Allah, send your prayers and your peace upon our leader Muhammad and upon his family and upon his companions, whose hearts were united and whose souls were educated, so that they became victorious leaders. And what follows thereafter, O believers of Allah, I advise you as well as I advise myself to first have the proper regard for Allah and thereafter be obedient to him. Dear believers, I greet you with the universal greetings of peace. Assalamu alaikum, which means peace be with you. This week we are looking at the attribute of al-wajid, which means the perceiver. And we know that in the Qur'an there is a verse that discusses how not even a leaf falls without Allah's knowledge. And in that verse it also says that not a grain is in the darkness that Allah does not have knowledge of. So this, dear believers, makes us think of not only what happens in creation, but Allah's ability to know of that thing. And as Muslims, we constantly refer to the the hadith of Jibril that discusses that we should live as though we see Allah. However, we do not see Allah, but knows that he sees us, meaning that Allah has knowledge of all of our actions. Allah has knowledge of all things. And for many of us, when we take that into consideration, we think about our shortcomings. We think about our character flaws or our personality defects where we're not fully engaging the religion, where we're not fully engaging our potential. And this idea that Allah is able to perceive my actions, and that Allah is able to perceive the things that I do, that he's able to see who I am that I hide from others, that he's able to see me in these times when I'm not listening, when I'm not performing my prayer, when I'm not speaking in the best ways, when I'm not giving charity. I feel that there's this great sadness, this great pressure on me. And for some, we have some instances, past and present, where people are told by those that are in some kind of religious authority, in some type of position of power or authority, that the only way that Allah will accept you, or the only way that you'll make it to paradise is if you take some kind of an action that we know to be un-Islamic, that we know not to be beneficial, but that's the only way to redeem yourself in the eyes of your Creator, is to take this type of action. But we know that is false. We know that is a false understanding. We know that is a false teaching, that we have to go to some kind of an extreme in order to be seen or to be perceived as good by our Creator. So this is a false notion. But it is this notion, or this idea, that Allah sees everything about me. Allah sees all the things that I hide from others, all the things that I don't say, all the things that I think, all the things that I may look at, all the things that I may say under my breath. The unkind thoughts that I'm having. And so it weighs on me. And it weighs on me. It makes me feel like maybe I'm not a good Muslim, because Allah sees me. Perhaps you're a Muslim that drinks. Perhaps you're a Muslim that smokes. Perhaps you're a Muslim that engages in sexual activity outside of marriage. And this idea that Allah sees you, even though you don't see him, when you come to the recognition, or you come to the realization that that is true, it weighs on you heavily. And we all like to think or we all like to present this idea that we're the perfect Muslim, that we're the best Muslim. Our outward expression is that we're the best Muslim, and we have no flaws, and we have no things that we struggle with. But this isn't the case. We're all human. And Allah sees that about us. Allah knows that about us. Not a leaf falls with Allah's knowledge. And if we're just to take that into consideration, if we're just to walk outside and look at one tree, one large tree with more branches than we can count, and on each of those branches, there are more leaves than we can count. And we take a bigger step back and we look into where we are. We're in the forest, we're in the woods somewhere, and we see more trees than we can count. And then we think that we're only in one geographical location. And we know that there are leaves and trees all over the world. And Allah says that not a leaf falls without His knowledge. He is the perceiver. He is Al-Laṭīf. Not a leaf falls without His knowledge. And so for us, it's uncomprehensible. We can't comprehend this vast amount of knowledge that Allah has, this awareness, this perception that Allah has. So we beat ourselves up because we think that Allah, or we know that Allah sees the things that we do. He sees the things that we are not. He sees the things that we don't say. He has knowledge of all these things and weighs us, and it's heavy on us. They believe Allah is Al-Wajid. Allah is the perceiver. Not a leaf falls without His knowledge. Allah knows. أقول هذا أستغفر لي ولكم والحمد لله رب العالمين. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم مجيد. Allah is the perceiver. So where we go most often when we think about Allah, when we think about our Creator, the ability to perceive, the ability to see us, so many go to this idea that Allah is disappointed, that our Creator is disappointed, that we do these things and Allah just wants to hold us to account for the bad things He did, because that's what He sees. That's what so many teach, that this negative aspect, that Allah is only taking notice of our negative deeds. Allah is only taking notice of the ill thoughts we have, the times that we don't pray, the times that we don't give in charity. That Allah is just seeking out to find us in the wrong. That's what Allah is taking note of. That's what Allah sees. But dear believer, Allah is the perceiver. Allah is Al-Wajid. So just as you may understand or feel as if all He sees are the bad things that you're doing, the things that aren't consistent with the religion, know that Allah sees the good that you do. Know that Allah sees the good person that you are. Know that Allah sees the kind things that you may say, the kind things that you may think that you don't express to anyone. Allah sees that. Allah sees you. Allah sees how hard you work. Allah sees how you want to do better. Allah sees how you reflect on Him in those times when you may not be living a consistent life. How you think on Him, and how you think about how is He going to be concerned with you? How is He going to deal with you? Your heart aches for His love. Allah sees that. Allah knows that He is Al-Wajid. He is the perceiver. He perceives that you want to do better. He perceives that you want to do better. He perceives all these things. It's not just that Allah sees our shortcomings. Allah sees those good things about us too. Allah sees those good things about you. Allah sees that you are a good person. Allah sees your potential. Allah sees who you can become. He has knowledge of who you can become. And He wants the best. So don't just think that because maybe momentarily, and momentarily maybe a few years, momentarily maybe the majority of your entire life, that you're not living in a way that is pleasing to your Creator. Allah has knowledge that you have the potential to improve. He perceives that potential in you. He sees that yearning inside of you to want to be better, to want to do better. Allah sees that. So it's not for us to just think that Allah is sitting somewhere, however we in our mind imagine Allah, that He's not somewhere just taking notes of the bad things that we do, writing down every time that we miss a prayer, writing down every time that we don't respond the best way to someone, writing down all these personality flaws, all these inconsistent behaviors that we have. Allah has taken note of when you do pray, and you're getting a larger benefit for the times that you do pray than when you don't. And you're getting a larger benefit of the times when you do good deeds than when you don't. When you give charity, you're getting more benefit for the charity that you give than when you don't. Allah wants you to be successful. Allah wants you to have what it is that you desire. Allah is Al-Laṭīf. He doesn't just perceive the negative. He doesn't just see our humanity, our mortality. He doesn't just see this what we may be expressing in a moment. He perceives and He knows who you are. He knows who you can be because He created you. He put that in you. So, dear believers, don't just think when that verse says, live as though you see Allah, but know that He sees you as something negative. Live as though Allah sees you out there doing those good things, playing with your children, being kind to people, giving charity, making prayer. Know that Allah sees you, even though you can't see Him. He's pleased with you. Allah is Al-Laṭīf, the perceiver. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. إن صلاتي ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لله رب العالمين لا شريك له وبذلك أمرت وأنا أول المسلمين. الحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين.